Hi there! So I know I just filmed one video, but this one's going to be kind of held back a little bit because I wanted to do some batch filming because there's a lot of videos that I've been wanting to make for the last couple of weeks that I'd either have to edit, which, as you can tell, I suck at when it comes to editing, but I kind of want to still do them. So the first one I wanted to do was kind of talk about my Reaper series. And I did a video during like the early days of my channel last year where I talked at length about my series, but that was when the first book, I think it hadn't come out just yet. It was either out or it had just come out. Or it hadn't come out, I don't remember. But, I wanted to kind of do a little bit of an updated video of it. So for any of my new followers, hi there, how you doing? In the comment section below, let me know what you think of my video after you finish watching this, because it might be a little bit of a train wreck. But anyway, the project I'm talking about right now is my Reaper series. It is my young adult murder mystery / thriller with supernatural elements series. It is still standing at 7 books. So far, I have yet to decide whether or not to do less or more. More likely, 7 is a good number for the symbolism that I'm doing in it. Now, so far, I have 2 books out for it. I have Stand Up Fight Back, which is book 1. And in Stand Up Fight Back, the main character, Piper Duval, she moves to a small town in about the central area of Nevada. About, if I remember correctly, it's about 150 miles north of the Las Vegas Strip. And she has a turbulent first day at her new school in this very small town. A school shooting takes the lives of 6 people. And she is then asked by a group of people calling themselves Reapers to not only help solve the crime of the shooting, but also to figure out why an exorbitant amount of extra deaths have been happening over the last several months. Now, this series is very close to my heart because not only has it taught me more about what I want to write and the stories that I want to tell, but it also has helped me work through some things because the main character, Piper, she starts off the story, the entire series is literally about Piper coming into her own and learning to trust her own voice. And Piper is a lot like I was for a long time, so that's why it's very cathartic to write her. In the first book, she's very much she's always going to be an anxious person, but she's let that rule her life up until this point. Basically, she's been very sheltered. She doesn't take risk. She doesn't do anything that's not expected of her. And her catalyst for her life is not the shooting. Yeah, that's a major life event, but that is not what ultimately pushes her to make a change in her life. It is her making the deal with a Reaper named Warren McGraw. And that has propelled her into a world that she had only seen glimpses of. And she is being pushed into doing things and looking deeper into herself and finding the voice that she can trust in herself. So with book 1, each book has to deal with either a friend of hers. It's all of her friends. But the first and the last book are Piper's time to shine, because the first book shows where she started from, and the last book will be where she's ending up. But with book 1, we get to be introduced to the majority of her friends, minus one, which will be introduced in book 2. But it shows a little bit of the world of the Reapers. Not a lot, but there's some. Then we move on to Stand Up Breakout, which is book 2. This one I've kind of dubbed as Danny's book. Danny is a friend of hers that she meets at her new school and in her new town. He is a young black man. He goes to the same school as her, and he is very much I want to say like the quiet voice of reason. When he knows what he's doing, he is very calm, very cool and collected. But he is prone to panic when it comes to someone else's life. When it comes to just knowledge-based things and the planning of things, the strategy, he's cool. But when it comes to actually people's lives, he tends to freak out a little bit. Case in point, in the first book, when you'll read, he freaks out over having to help Piper with her dislocated ankle. And he doesn't know what he's doing. But in book 2, we get a specific scene where he helps Piper figure out her own sense of style, and he is in 100% control, and he knows what he's doing then, because it's something more intellectual based as far as he's concerned. So in book 2, we get to deal with Danny's family, and specifically deal with Danny's older sister Ingrid, who has been locked up in a prison for the last 2 years in Venderton, Utah, which is a made-up small town, much like Little Fiddle, which is the town that they're from. And this one, you also get to meet Warren McGraw's descendant, Drusilla, Drew for short. She is the last member of Piper's gang that kind of gets together. And she's the one that has the most in common with Piper when it comes to the Reapers, because she herself can see them as well. The Reapers cannot be seen by normal people. It takes something very specific to happen, or for them to be touched by the Reapers to be able to see them. Usually a near-death experience or actually being dead is a prime way to be able to see them. And with the second book, we get deeper into who the bad guy is. His name is Sharon, and he is one of the 2 main leaders of the Reapers. The other one is Lazarus. He is the one that primarily works with Piper when Warren is not available. And Sharon is the main baddie. But he's not the baddie in, at least in my opinion, the traditional sense. Because he's not evil. He has his reasons. And I very much liken him to like Thanos's way of thinking. Even though I personally have not seen Infinity War, I know what Thanos's reasoning is behind what he wants to do, and I understand it. He literally has a prime reason for doing this, for doing what he's doing. And that becomes abundantly clear in book 2, or at least the inklings of it. You don't get the full description until book 3, which I only have the first draft done. I haven't done the edits for it, but book 3 right now, Stand Up, Obtain Control, is by far the most heaviest in the Reaper world that we have gone into at this point. This is another big catalyst for Piper. This is an action, much like the deal with Warren, that she cannot turn away from. She has no choice but to change. And this one is going to be the one that hurts. I've already warned one of my beta readers. I have to warn the other one once I actually get to that point that it's like, you're going to hurt. This one is going to hurt. And it's meant to. Because up until this point, yeah, my characters have had bad things happen to them. They've been threatened. They've been traumatized. But the real consequences of what they're doing has never been fully realized until this point. And I wanted to make that abundantly clear. Because I've seen way too many series where I'm okay with the entire group making it out alive. I personally don't like it when main characters are perma-killed, but their actions do have to have consequences. And they have to have lasting consequences. They can't just have consequences briefly and then it's never discussed again. So that's just my personal opinion. But with my Reaper series, I'm only at book 3, but I've started building ideas for 4, 5, 6, and 7. 7 is the one that I have probably the most on, but it's all stuff for the finale. Because I have this great cathartic scene that I want to do for Piper. And I'm hoping that I am a strong enough writer that I'm going to be able to pull it off. But basically, the theme of the entire series is to know that while you can have people standing behind you and standing next to you for support, ultimately, at the end of the day, what's going to get you through your problems is you standing up on your own 2 feet and not letting anything knock you down. Sorry, I get a little emotional. That's why this is such a passion project for me. That's why I've titled it the way I have. The stand-up is consistent. Because while the second half of the title always changes, you always have to stand up. You always have to make your own decision and know that ultimately it comes down to you. No one else can make the decision for you. I'm getting very philosophical over here. But ultimately that's what I wanted to say with my Reaper series. And while I probably will not do another YA series after I finish this, I am very happy with what I have done with it. And I hope that for the people who do read it, that they enjoy it as much as I've enjoyed writing it. If you would like a link to Stand Up Fight Back or Stand Up Breakout, I will try to remember to leave that in the description below. Or you can just look me up on Amazon under J.A. Giaquinto. I'll also leave you'll see the spelling of my channel. But I will try to leave the links to both those books in the description for you. Because I know how annoying it is to sometimes look up indie authors on Amazon. Because personally, I've looked up myself. I've looked up both my books. The only one that pops up consistently is the second one because it is such a different title. Stand Up Fight Back, unfortunately, has the unfortunate luck to also be similar titles to a lot of like political and patriarchal books, which I'm like, okay, I can kind of understand that. But my book looks nothing like theirs. So I will leave the links below in the description so you can check it out. It is available on both paperback, ebook, and also on Kindle Unlimited if you have it. It's also available there. Both of them are. I believe I have the ebook set at $2.99 and the paperback set at $12.99, I believe. I'll have to double check that when I put the stuff down in the bottom. But it would mean a lot to me if you looked at it. Even the sample I'd be happy with. because this series is so close to my heart, and I hope that people see what I'm trying to do. So, sorry to get a little bit emotional and a little bit long. I can't seem to make an under 10-minute video unless I'm like just doing a quick update. But I'm glad you all have sat here and watched this with me, and I hope you enjoy the rest of my videos. And thank you all for watching. I really do appreciate it. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.